Hello, friends, and welcome to the first in our two-part world-building series for Generation Fantasy, also known as Gen F. Welcome, gamers. I'm Katie May, also known as Kay and the DM for our time here. Today we're going to be world building.
Yay!
That's a great question. We should tell them at the top. We should let them know about what we're making, what we're building here today. But I think before we do, in case you don't know us, which is your fault, we're going to go around and introduce ourselves.
Playing the bling game right at the start. We love to see it.
Is this the intro that we're going with, or are we gonna?
This is it.
We're gonna list some problems with you first.
But if you got so many problems with it, TK, why don't you introduce me and show me how it's done?
Wait, can we cuss in this game?
Yes, we can.
God, eat my ass, Katie May.
Oh,
Nice.
cousin.
2 minutes.
Me,
Nice.
it's TK. That's what's the intro?
I don't know. You want to tell? You're at TK Joins the Fray on Twitter.
Yes,
You're
I
a
am.
prolific writer of horror and.
Oh, I don't.
stories?
This is. I'm gonna take the intro back. You're blowing it up too much.
Okay, there you go.
No, I'm TK. I write spooky stories on the internet, and if you like spooky stories, you can read them at my website, tkjwrites.com, or you can follow me on Twitter, TK Joins the Fray.
All right, setting examples. How about Solani go next?
Hi, I'm Slani. I am DMing for Plot Hunters on Saturdays usually, and I have a couple other DMing games. I like doing a lot of Dungeon Mastering, but this time I actually get to play, which is really nice.
I'm always happy to provide for Forever GMs. It's like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Masood, tell me about you, bud.
Oh, hi, I'm Masood. You can find me on the internet at Marudboy, MAHRUDBOI. I'm a Twitter person. I play video games and I stream playing tabletop role-playing games with these wonderful folks at Indoor Recess. I'm an actor, I'm a comedian, but more importantly, I'm playing in this wonderful game of Generation Fantasy. Ooh, I'm so excited. Yeah.
And Carlos, take us home.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Carlos Luna. I'm a creative director and producer. You can find me on Twitter at Carlos Crits. Yeah, that's it.
That's all you have to say.
That's all
And
I got.
together, we five nerds make Indoor Recess Crew. We just wrapped up Mythic Odysseys of Theros, which you can catch on Roll20's YouTube channel. But today we are world building for our new campaign titled Gen F, Generation Fantasy.
Yes.
Basically, we are going to explore the life of four prolific. I said the word prolific twice on the stream now.
It's okay. Keep going. I like
That's
it.
cool. You also didn't introduce yourself, and that's totally fine.
I said
Yeah,
I
she
was
did.
KM the DM. You'll hear a lot of me today. Generation Fantasy, Gen F, is going to follow these four teens as they slowly discover that their small town of Jenkins, Nebraska, has been transported into a fantasy realm. So, today we are going to world build Jenkins, Nebraska. Which is our new favorite small town. I'm very excited to do that. We are going to be doing so by playing a very cool game that I'm so excited to show you for called I'm Sorry, Did You Say Street Magic? It's a whole ride. We're going to get into that system. I'm very excited. It is a world building game. It's diceless. It's not what we're usually doing, which is very fun. So we're going to use that to develop it a bit. We're going to do that a little bit later. I'm going to start with some general session 0 questions and topics to begin with. But man, am I missing a single thing before we hop into the sauce?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Hop that sauce.
Then we're just gonna hop into the sauce,
Let's get into it. I think the
All
sauce
right.
is
No,
ready.
we're not making up
It's perfect
things.
temp.
Well,
Stop
I'm
it.
pretty sure they're gonna repeat that forever, so
Yeah.
it's good to go.
It's the new bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say the bit is dead now.
Well, I didn't know if we were.
No.
Well, I didn't know if it was an abuse of power, as I'm the GM now to keep that bit going. So, I just didn't want to be accused.
And with that quiver, with
tyranny.
that doubt, the bit has died.
I
Oh
think
no.
it's honestly it's best that way. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, well now I'm getting spiteful, and I may want to bring it back. So get careful.
All right.
So Usually, so these are two things that'll function essentially as a session 0. For those of you at home who are maybe thinking about like doing a session 0 for yourselves, the nice thing about Indoor Recesses is we've already done a campaign together. So we already have gone through the very important steps of checking on each other's lines and veils. We know what the other is cool with for most of the time. I am going to do some additional housekeeping with this subject. I'm sorry, there's just one piece of my bangs that keeps falling in my eyes. I'm going to die. Some additional pieces of housekeeping because part of our game is going to be taking place in the real world as opposed to a fantasy world. So we're just going to do some traditional session 0 questions. I know you guys get never tired of those. First thing I want to talk about, and this section is greatly inspired by James D'Amato's GM, how to be a great RPG player book. I should figure out the title of that at some point. But I want to start with some easy ones to get us warmed up, and I want to talk a bit about like the genre of what this campaign's going to be. So when I think of the genre of this campaign is going to be, which I have just been saying, oh, the genre is Riverdale, and I need to unlearn that. And so I've been thinking, like, what is this genre like called? I think I've settled on teen fantasy angst. How do we feel?
All right.
I think that it's fair to call this an urban fantasy drama. Yeah.
Urban fantasy drama also,
or YA fantasy drama.
YA fantasy drama does sound more professional. So
Magic Light.
I saw it as a mystery, not as a drama.
Yeah. A little bit of like
mystery.
Well, mysteries are dramas.
Yeah, I think that mystery can fall under drama as well as adventure. I guess it really depends on what we want to focus on. Do we want to focus on our relationships with each other and how we feel?
Or was there an or? I feel like there was only one option for that one.
And focus on mystery.
I think that's like present, and then I would also love to like get into the deeper meaning of the world around us, like finding out those answers while discovering the answers outside.
Yeah. So like, are we Scooby-Doo or are we fucking Riverdale?
Yeah, so to start, I wanna like talk about our favorite pieces of media associated with this genre. Cool. So obviously I've already said Riverdale. We've got my like teen childhood classics of like Twilight, Vampire Academy. We've got those in the back. I know, Masood, you're watching The Magicians right now, right?
I am watching The Magicians. I was a big fan of the books. I mean, still some rough elements in there, and like I've got my critiques about them, but I did enjoy stepping back into the fantasy world with something modern after a long time being out of it, and like still like enjoying for what it was. I watched the TV show mainly because I read the books and I liked the world that they built, and because they explained away that it's not like the books in a multiple timeline sort of confirmation. And then they got really campy, and like sometimes I just fast forward through parts I don't like. So yeah.
I fast forwarded through the whole second season, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. They just did a musical number and I was like, God bless them. And I skipped.
Those are usually the only episodes I watch for a show.
I'm same.
The only episode I've seen of Buffy, so
I
Buffy
think
fits in this genre.
Buffy does fit in this genre.
That's the only one
That's
that I
my
can
go-to.
relate to.
Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah.
That's
Buffy
my
the
go-to.
Any of those other shows that
Did
you're like,
did you guys watch Angel at all? Were you also
No.
fans
A
of the
little bit.
spinoff?
I watched Angel before I watched Buffy.
So my friend got mad at me that I'd finished Angel, but I'd never finished Buffy.
Yeah,
the other day.
My friend
if
was
Buffy were
obsessed
good,
with
it'd be
Buffy.
different.
Mhm.
My friend was like obsessed with, like, went to Buffy conventions, had Buffy trading cards, the comics, like all that. And like I remember one day I went over to his place and he's just like, "Oh yeah, it's this Buffy. We're doing this Buffy marathon before the finale." And I was like, "Okay." I'm like, I'm cool hanging out. I'll watch this. And I just watched the series finale. Was the first episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm like, I have no idea why any of this stuff is important. Why any of these characters are like, he'll be watching, be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they did it." I'm like, I have no idea what this is. But yeah, he got me hooked on it, and I didn't watch I watched Angel before because that was still going on. I'm like, I'll watch this one first. Angel is better than Buffy. Sorry, I said
They're
it.
very different stories.
They're
very different types of
very
art.
different.
The Buffy movie is better than the show, but nobody believes me.
Buffy movie is better.
The original
than
one.
the show.
Buffy movie
That
is better
is
than
right.
the
With
Yeah.
Luke Perry.
Yeah,
With Luke Perry.
Yes, it's
Yes.
good.
it's good.
Have you read the Angel comics? Because I think like
did.
the storyline I think is better at the like
They could
what-
not afford to make that.
That would have been
storyline.
impossible.
It would have been impossible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's literally riding a dragon in
For
like
sure.
post-apocalyptic LA.
It was before its time. Now
maybe.
with like CW money could have made that happen.
Yeah.
For sure.
It'll probably be Marvel money.
Well,
It'll all be one thing.
yeah.
So with the knowledge of like this genre, as I slide over
Moderate. Come on.
Before we get too
Whip on
targeted
past
and
that. What are your like favorite like specific like is there a trope you particularly enjoy about this genre? Is there like a character archetype, or I love me a murder plot line. I love me like I love when things culminate at a school dance. Do you have any like specific favorites in your heart to share with me here?
So I've been watching. I watched some of the Runaways. I watched the first season of Supernatural. I usually like it when they're specifically battling like monsters or specifically working on solving a mystery. The episodes of Riverdale where they are working specifically on the mystery, love it. I love that stuff. But when main characters kiss, I don't care anymore. I don't.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, that's what I care the most.
Yeah, I know. Well, if it's like a slower, if it's like X-Files or something, and it's like 7 seasons of like will they, won't they? That's different from like first season of Runaways, where like they have the least passionate lesbian couple that I've ever seen in TV media, where they just like chastely press their cheeks against each other to kiss, and it's just like, you want me to care about this couple, and I will not. I don't care if they live or die. That said, I loved the episode where like these teens like stand up to their parents and like really stand up to their parents, when like don't know any of the characters' names. I've erased them from my mind, but the girl with the staff, the witch one,
I know who you're talking about. I'm
she
terrible
like
with names.
is like fighting with her mom and stuff, and her mom like sealed up like the pool so that the other girl couldn't. I don't know their names anyway, but like her mom's like, if you can take the staff with you, but if you leave, we're done, we're not family anymore. And she leaves. Like that moment of fucking like that tension right there, where she's like, if you go, we're done, we are enemies, and I am prepared to kill you. I'm like,
so you like some interfamily, you like
me.
you like interfamily drama. I'll write that down.
Even if it's not like family, if it's your ally, where it's
inter-ally drama.
Yeah, because we're watching Cobra Kai too, which is not fantasy based, but it's like a lot of Cobra Kai has to do with like allies and then like betrayal and going to the other sides and like playing them against the other. But I also like it when kids' relationships are affected by like the adult relationships and vice versa in ways that aren't like romantic at all. Like, our parents like are fighting so we can't date or whatever. I don't care about that. But when it's like our parents are fighting and so we have to fight too, like I like stuff like that. And like navigating the relationship between like rivals and enemies, like with that very narrow rival to enemy line.
Are we rivals or are we enemies? Is it great?
Yeah. And it's like, how far can I push you until it's like that, where's that breaking point? And like playing with that breaking point, because it's usually like so fucking dramatic. Like in She-Ra, whenever Katra, which I haven't watched the end of, but Katra like kicks Adora into that fucking cliff, and she's like, you're the one who's like, my obsession with you and wanting to be good enough for you is what's always held me back, so I'm just gonna kill you now and be the best I've ever been. Like, I'm like, oh fucking Yes.
Yum, 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 yum.
I
Always a
kinda-
+1 and enemies to lover. Yeah, Masood.
To echo off that, I love that vibe, and like in a similar realm of like youth fantasy, I'm gonna take it to like Yu Yu Hakusho, and like my favorite characters are Hiei and Karama.
Yes.
Like
Aw.
the two demons who do
Oh.
good. Like, you know what I mean? Like that
Ooh.
Yeah.
sort of vibe. Like the
Bad boys
like,
doing good.
Angel always was a fan, like for a similar reason. And I also think like there's something present about. I love also like a world that requires a magic. I love the magical girl transformation, like some sort of like switch into your like fantasy form, or like
Yeah.
I'm battling something like that. Like Power Rangers did it. Like
Step
I've
it
just
up.
have always
Step it up
loved. Yes,
transformation.
like shit's getting real. I have to unleash what I've been holding back.
Yes.
Yeah.
You brought up Yu Yu Hakusho, and that made me think of Kuwabara, who is like this big thug guy, but his main power is the love and respect of his friends and
Right.
wanting to protect other people. Like that's what makes him powerful, which I love. I love like big thuggish dudes that have like hearts of gold.
Yeah. Any
Also,
other?
The
Also?
the theme of like Demon Slayer has it, My Hero Academia has it, like Dragon Ball Z always has it. It's like you have to train, like you have to work at what you're doing to get better, and like it's like you can't just be better, you have to push yourself to achieve that, and you will surprise yourself but when you do that, like when you really push yourself hard, you'll be surprised at the results. Yeah.
What do we like and what don't we like about the chosen one trope in this genre?
My favorite thing about the chosen one trope is the side character who is not chosen.
Yes.
Like that, like the guy who has nothing, or the person who has nothing but still works as hard. Like
I
who
don't
are-
like
Yeah.
the chosen ones that are just like placeholder characters. They're
Yeah.
just there. They have no personality, nothing interesting about them. Like the only thing that's interesting about them is the fact that they're chosen.
They were chosen.
The chosen
Yeah,
one.
dude.
Yeah. I
There-
feel like Harry Potter leaned into that a lot, where it's
Yeah.
like, wow, you
the
don't
least
really
interesting
do
character.
anything. The only thing that you have done is survive. And sometimes that's enough.
Yeah.
But you're up against Nazis, so maybe do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do kind of like the idea of like all the other, the chosen one being completely incompetent, while all the other side characters are the ones who have to keep the chosen one alive.
Yeah. Like if you
I
lean
love that
into
trope.
it, but if it's like if you lean into it and you like really lampshade it, where it's like, I guess we have to fix this baby. But like if it's like fucking Archie from Riverdale, where you're like, why do people like this kid?
Yeah.
We can go off on Archie for forever.
I know you
I
two hate
would,
Archie
but
so
that's
much.
that's
Archie.
too that's more
That's for our Riverdale podcast.
Right.
yeah.
Coming out in 2021.
And the thing is like I hate Archie so much more than he deserves, because he deserves nothing.
Yeah, he really deserves nothing, but he gets
And
offered
yet-
constantly.
And yet all I can do is offer him more attention.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
even
little
talking about
shit.
this bothers me.
Yeah. We must
I wrote-
shed the concept of Archie, or
I
else
wrote
we
down a bunch of my favorite things, because I've actually never thought of this. Like, what are the things that I like? You know, I like TK said, when they're working on the main storyline, I like it when they're working on the main storyline in bottle episodes. So when
You like a bottle up. Okay.
yeah, so I don't like bottle ups, but I only like them when we're working on the main storyline, because it's like
Yeah.
it's like didn't expect this in this weird werewolf one, like all these like little tidbits that are going to be used later. I really like that. I like body switches. I like
that's
Freaky
fun.
Friday body switches every
Oh,
single
man.
time. I love
That is
it.
fun.
Here's one that like I've never seen someone talk about, but I started thinking like, what are some of my favorite episodes of other shows? And it's captured by the enemy and like held captive by an enemy, but in a room with all the tools you need to escape. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Like,
Captured by enemy, the digs are nice.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna write.
Like, oh, they locked me in this boathouse. It's like, but if I use that crowbar and that kite over there, you know,
that
like
key to the boat.
Yeah, and the key to the boat. And it's just like, I could use this old CB radio to, you know, like that type of stuff. And this Coca-Cola can. I love those type of episodes. I like time period flashbacks that star the main cast for some reason. So either in time travel or they're playing different people in the past or
it's their
like
ancestors
implies reincarnation, you know?
yeah, their ancestor. It's just like my great-great-grandfather and I play my great-great-grandfather.
Vampire Diaries, I see you.
Yeah, it's very like Back to the Future 3.
I love when small characters that are like throwaway characters become a part of not the main group, but they're just kind of like always around the main group from now on. They're kind of get like inducted in
little
as
satellite
like
members.
yeah.
Garrett from Community. Or like
Yes,
Leonard.
exactly. Yeah. Or if in
Like
Buffy,
who from
there's
Community?
Jonathan.
Garrett?
You know.
I don't know who that is. Oh, God.
Jonathan. Yeah, Jonathan. Yeah.
I like adults becoming younger. Because of magic or science,
Like kid younger or
like they're like a baby now, or like a
baby.
like a
toddler.
teenage, like a teenage, like old Mr. Crenshaw, we hate him so much, and it's just like, but now he's young and he's hip and he has a motorcycle, and we're like, something's wrong with like kids are getting older for some reason. Like, oh, it's probably Crenshaw.
I love the idea of like him not really becoming like he just becomes like that Steve Buscemi meme, and like everybody knows him as young, but he's like exactly the same.
I like.
I have one.
Oh, go.
I just have one. The only one I can think of is going back to my anime watching days is them when they're trying to balance out like being a regular teenager and doing schoolwork with having to be a hero. And,
I love that trope so
and like
much.
being out all night, like fighting things and having to go into class the next morning and being like,
It's
I
very
hate that
Sailor
trope
Moon.
so much. I hate it so much because it's distracting
Pick
for
one.
me. I'm like,
Pick one.
hold on, when did she go to sleep? You know, like
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
even if it's
to
just
do
like
her calculus
sleeping in.
homework.
yeah.
It's like even when it's just sleeping in like one of your classes and
Yeah.
getting in trouble for it. Yeah, for sure.
I also like when like nobody else like knows what the hell's going on. Just the small group of people who know like there are monsters everywhere and having to like cover it up and try to pretend like everything's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a big fan of like the Zuko arc, the Vegeta arc, like that sort of like story arc of. I think TK may have mentioned it, like heroes, like villains to heroes, or like understanding the true fight, like seeing through the brainwashing. I think is like.
I like it. I wrote down when
Enemy to ally.
henchmen. When henchmen do it, I like that a lot more because like henchmen are being used, and like don't really might not know.
Yeah.
I think that's an arc that I really like.
I remember in like Transformers when Starscream became like instead of a Decepticon an Autobot. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
The henchman 21 from the Venture Brothers.
I have when teens obviously fawn over their crushes and their crushes don't notice at all.
Oh, I love it.
I like it only when it's obvious. Only when it like it's got to be like like I love
So
that.
like I was thinking about all the live action stuff that I don't like with romance, but I really love it in anime, and that's like a big thing. Because if it was like with like Betty talking about Archie, I'm sorry, Riverdale, but I've just been watching it recently. When she's talking about it, or like characters that are like obviously so into each other on like the Runaways and stuff, and I'm just like, God, just fucking text him. But when it's anime, that unless it's a romance anime, they don't spend a lot of time on it. So it's like in the background, you just see them get like blushy or hard eyes or something. And I'm just like, she loves him so much. And I'm like, I'm ready to spend 20 episodes waiting for like that moment when he like touches her hand like obliviously, or his hand like obliviously, and she just like loses it, and he's just like, oh, I forgot, like this, like, oh, I touched her hand because I was reaching for a fork or something. Like you see it from his point of view. I'm like, oh, so good.
Love it,
I really like also the presentation and the immediate knowledge, like when introduced to the world, that you are outclassed. Like I think at the start, like
Outcast or outclassed?
Outclassed.
Oh.
Like
I like
I think
that too.
of if you ever
Everything
played,
can kill you.
right? Like yes, like if you ever
What
played.
a dangerous thing to tell a dungeon master.
No, but really, I really mean that. Like at first,
Yeah.
because I think of the game. If you ever played like the Nintendo game Mega Man X.
Oh no.
No, truly, like in the first level, like you play as Mega Man,
I'm
and you're
thinking
really
about
great.
it.
And then you fight this like dude at the end of the battle, and you get knocked out real easily. And then your buddy Zero comes along and like crushes him.
Mhm.
And then later, as the story goes on, you get stronger, you get different parts. Like you get to a place that you're there, and now you're like equals. Like I like that sort of presentation of like
like not
Yeah.
you're training not to be the best, you're training to be at the level, like to begin with.
I like that because it
You're
tells
training
you
to get into
about
the fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
it tells you about the world, but also about your relationship with Zero as both a rival and a mentor, as like that sort of notch that you want to reach.
Exactly.
And not just so that you can be as strong as Zero, but so that you can protect yourself and also protect him. Them,
Demon Slayer.
yeah.
they're robots.
Oh, I thought of another one. When
Okay, lightning round. Let's go.
yeah, this is this last one. It's when you there's someone on the inside feeding you information, but you don't know who it is. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Secret mole. Yep.
Yeah.
Gossip
Secret
Girl, yes. Lady Bridgerton. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like an omnipotent sort of side character as a framing device that
It's
turns
not
out to
Jughead.
be like, that's not Jughead because he's a main character, but if they're like a minor character, if it turned out to be like this was like like all the narration was done as like one of the Josie and the Pussycats was like updating her blog or something like that. Like if they never reveal the narrator, kind of like Bridgerton, where it's like they wait to kind of reveal the narrator, and it's like you just find out that like the person who's been like omnipotent about all that is like, I was there the whole time.
Yeah.
It's
I like it,
me,
especially if it's like a
melody
character.
on the drums.
If it's been like a character who is been just kind of a clueless, like dumb character that nobody pays attention to.
Yeah.
The ones who know everything.
Yeah, like a Colin Creevy or something like that.
Yeah.
That's just been like, hey, can I get your quote for the school paper or something like
Yeah.
a Jimmy Olsen character? And then you rewatch the show and you see that they really were there the whole time. Like they were like a side character, like in the background that you just overlooked.
The exact right moment.
Unexpected training activities, like that wouldn't go together. Like, oh, like I have to win the dance contest, and then now we have to study dance. And I'm like, why is this gonna ever help? And then at the end, it's like a dancing devil or something like that, and it's just like, oh, it comes in handy. Like, it's like that type of thing.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
All right.
Or it turns out that like there's like a laser thing that you have to like
Yeah, exactly. And it's just
have
like,
to,
oh,
get around or
and
something.
they say
My
like,
breakdancing classes will help me get through this.
and they say the name of the move like in that moment, you know, like whatever the
Drop kick shuffle,
yeah.
Adrian.
Do you ever watch the movie Dance Foo with Kel?
certainly did not.
Sorry,
No.
I'm sorry. It was not a good movie, but in a lot of ways, it was a great movie. You should find it and watch it. It was good.
My last suggestion, I
Last.
think,
It's
is
everyone's last.
Yeah,
So
that was
Yeah.
it. That was me. That was it for
do
me.
it with spirit. Do it with spirit.
I love a Neville Longbottom.
Oh,
Wholesome,
Yeah, you do.
a wholesome
Yeah, you do.
boy on the outside. Like, you know what I mean?
we know you love
I
a
do.
bottom.
Yeah, I love
Come on,
a Longbottom.
Katie.
I'll tell you what.
TK and I kept it classy.
Sorry.
TK and I was just
Sorry.
like, yeah, you do.
Sorry.
And then you're like, you like butt stuff, Masood.
Not what I.
First of all, a bottom doesn't have to be butt stuff. Okay, let's
true.
second. I want to talk to the audience real quick.
Yeah.
A bottom doesn't have to be butt stuff.
This is all getting caught
Whatever
up.
you want it to.
There's a public
This is
service
why-
announcement going
Yeah.
over your mouth
Bottoming
right
is
now.
whatever it means to you.
No.
So I love a Neville, and I love
Yes.
like that sort of arc trope. Like truly, I think it's so sweet to have him like in specifically if we're looking at like Harry Potter is also this like he and Harry are identical, but Harry was just happened to have been
Right place, right time. Yep.
right place, right time, and but that doesn't make Neville or like he was just assumed because of the prophecy.
Yeah.
While Neville also experienced like a terrible sort of outcome. But like that arc of then like him actually being like the one to pull out the sword out of the like the Gryffindor sword out of the Sorting Hat in the final battle, like being a true heir to like what is actually courage for Hogwarts, where everyone thought it was like Harry.
Because we could talk about this for a long time, because we won't do it here, but I would argue that Harry was the chosen one because Dumbledore groomed him into being the chosen one.
Next time on
TK's hot takes.
Next time on, we don't got time for that.
It's like a Spartan commander. He's like, here, just terrible situation, terrible. Yeah.
Exactly. And everybody knows that the most loyal dog is the one that's.
Okay, mate, you have to grab rein.
Just
we got it. Okay,
grab the rein.
Sorry. I will. I love you all so much, and I'm so sorry.
You need to stop.
I like thinking about this.
Hey. Anyways, now, thank you for all those inspirations. Now we are going to move on to see TK does it by silence, and I don't have that. TK can just be silent, and then we're like, oh, we need to let TK talk, and then we'll all stop talking.
I'm saying get a siren, get a flashing sign.
Okay.
Okay. What's the next step?
All right. So the next step is I want to talk about 2 serious topics: sex and violence. Let's talk about them. So, hi. I want to talk about how we feel about romance in this game. Are you comfortable to be romanced by NPCs? Do you want that to be a part of your story? Are you comfortable having it be a part of other people's stories? How do you feel about it, folks?
I am fine with people having crushes on Kaya. Kaya will have pretty much no interest because she is like obsessed with magic, and like that is like what she's in love with. Unless she finds someone who is as obsessed with magic as she is. Like if she finds like a really powerful magician, and they go and she wants to learn from them, like she might like be enamored in that way, but like that's it. Like magic first.
Would it be safe to say that it isn't a core focus of yours, but if it's something that happens naturally, it's something you could... Okay, cool.
I think I'm okay with an NPC emerging that my character pines for, but is either constantly denied. It's like, or like then reveal the proper, like through time finding out, like originally seeing it and like both having to like my character having to grow, and then the other NPC seeing that growth and seeing change.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I like that a lot. Okay.
I'm okay with a healthy rivals to lovers, PC, NPC, whatever, but only if it assists both our characters' growth. Yeah. I don't like romance that's there for romance's sake, and I never will because I'm boring. But like if it is in a way where our characters have grown together and romance is the natural like culmination, I would rather have the tension than like the fruition, if that makes sense.
That makes complete sense to me.
I'd also love like kind of and I'm sure we would do this, but like checking in if like, hey, is this something like about this NPC like with you or like in some manner that's like, oh no, I'm not vibing it, but it would be funny if this happened around it or like something like that, and like leave it super vague, I'm trying to plan improv here, guys.
I'm okay with PC or NPC or other people seeking those things out as well.
Yes.
Whatever. Cool. Carlos, where are you at?
Yeah, I think pretty much what everyone said I agree with.
All right.
I'm trying to think if there's anything.
Part of it, like for me, even though I don't care about romance, I understand that as teenagers we're going to attract like a teenage audience, and romance is sort of is anticipated. I think it would be more fulfilling for the audience in a lot of ways to include some shades of romance. Not that I'm trying to like bully anybody into it, and that's why I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. I like it awkward. Like
Yes, I love it.
I just like
awkward
it
shit.
awkward.
If every romance in this show is exactly like Zach Oyama's characters trying to romance people in his shows, 100%.
Awkward romance is best romance.
All right. So with that done,
15-year-old pining.
I want to move on to the concept of violence and prejudice. So, you have my avowed promise that gendered, racial, or queer-based violence will never exist in my fantasy realm. We all have decided to play a game that takes place in Jenkins, Nebraska. Nebraska is part of the United States, a place where violence based on all of those prejudices exist. I think we gotta put it on a scale from like an Orange is the New Black to like a Bridgerton, where it's never talked or acknowledged and we skate past it.
Except for one single line, and then it's all good.
And then it's never touched again.
Right.
I think it's worth talking about how we would like to approach those kinds of things.
Well, and in a YA fantasy story, a lot of in any YA story, a lot of it is about the friction between youth and adults, and authority figures. That said, I wouldn't want anything that wasn't part of the main story, and I would like for the main stories to be, or I would like for any conflict that was like, if like Bayou had issues with the cops, they're fantasy cops.
Right.
It's
right.
not
And
because
they're
Bayou
not...
is black. It's because they are like fucking orcs or fucking dragons shit people or something like that. Or cultists. Like I just don't want. I want my fantasy world to be better than my real world.
Fair enough.
That's what I was thinking as well. I was just thinking like I don't want erasure, so like I can acknowledge it, I could say it, but like I don't want examples in Jenkins of it, like like that type of thing. Like our point of like if there were cops or whatever, we could have our characters can have that point of view, but like writing the story wise, like that won't be in, like there'll be orcs or there'll be some type of fantasy thing or whatever.
Because like Bayou is a criminal, and so I'm okay with like like they went to the Minute Night and got a bag of Skittles and they're like, oh, I better watch out for the neighborhood watch or like the cops or something, but I don't want that to be because Bayou is black.
Yeah, exactly.
I would prefer it to be because Bayou is a criminal or because those people are like shady.
The neighborhood watch is connected to whatever is underneath. There's like a
I would much rather that be the case. We can allude to it and not ignore it completely, because I think that does do a disservice for Bridgerton, because all of the black wealthy elite on Bridgerton would own slaves in like sugar plantations. But
here's the thing. So the difference between like a Bridgerton and an Us, or any other media and Us, is we are improv and we will do all these things off the cuff. I think like to keep us safe, it is easier to lean towards not including it than including it. I as a DM will never set out to oppress your character in any real world intent.
Can I offer an addendum to that though?
Please.
The only oppression I approve of is that pointing upwards in a classism manner. So I'm okay with oppression based on like someone not realizing privilege. I'm okay with oppression sort of like in dealing that, like punching up in that sense is a level that I am like mockery or like derision based around that is something I am comfortable with.
Yeah. And that's what I mean, like pointing like through our filter, we acknowledge all these things can be happening. We can reference all these things, but having the world divide us like that, I'm not into. Like,
me either.
Not only that, like optically, it will look bad. We are all players of color, and you're a white DM, and just optically, it would not be good.
We're not gonna trap you like that.
One, thank you. Two, that's actually partially why I'm having this conversation.
Yeah, of course.
Is because I wanted to show you, the person who is sitting on the other side of the screen, like this is how this conversation happens. This is how a white person listens with their ears. Do it next time. Right? Like I want you to know that like these are conversations that you can have, and these are questions that you can ask.
I forgot we were recording.
Right. totally started this thing with my bonnet on, and then got self-conscious and took it off.
I noticed.
We can leave that in the edit or not.
Hey,
but
I put my bangs back. This
Yeah.
is a thing of transformation, of growth.
Right. It's cool.
So yes, I just wanted to check in about like those two things, sex and violence. I always want to make sure that we are on the same page about them before we move forward. So with that, we are going to start playing our game. As we build out the world of Jenkins with all that talks about tropes and guidelines done, do we want to take a small break or do we just want to hop right in?
Oh, can we talk about violence really fast? Because I don't think we have
You want to talk more about violence? Let's do it.
And there's one thing I specifically don't want to spend a lot on, and that's like, I particularly like certain gendered violence. I think is difficult for me to watch in a certain way of like, particularly male to femme identifying in some, and where it's gratuitous. And I think of like as a reference point, like Mother by Aaron. I don't know if you've seen that, like Jennifer Lawrence and.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Javier Bardem. Yeah, the ending sort of bit around it. There's a lot of like violence for the sake of just gratuitous violence, like torture, just like on endum to like.
Yeah.
I think is. Like we get the point. I think when I feel like I get the point, I don't need to stay there for a longer period of time.
Or if we're going into anywhere that's like a little bit more gory or violent, if you could like use our other senses besides our eyes and just talk about how it smells or something like that, that would be nice too.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a hard time with guns.
Yeah.
Just like in a game sense with guns, like just like I don't know exactly how to play that because like a gun is all fear, right? Like a gun is like all fear no matter what, because it's like it could hit your hand or it could hit your skull and you're done. And like I can't differentiate like, oh, you have a bulletproof vest. I'm like, I don't care. Like I've played games where you know, it's just like, oh, your AC is now increased to this because you have a bulletproof vest. I'm like, but headshots exist. Like what do you guys I can't separate it. So like we need some type of potion before a gunfight or something, you know, in order for like my mechanic brain to get out of it. Like
one of the things about guns especially is that there are very few things in like in almost any medium where you put it out and it really puts like that fear of death into you. Like
Also,
I could die. And like what spell in like Dungeons and Dragons really
Fireball
acts up to that? Besides like, and even Fireball has a pretty low dexterity save,
like,
so it's like
Finger of Death
is like,
yeah, but I think because it's all pretend.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like, well, what does that
different.
mean? What is that? What's inside you? But like guns are very much real world, and it's just hard to forget that there's a tiny piece of metal that like kills people like every day, and it's like now we're having fun.
Yeah. So I think to speak on that, I'm like gun violence is not going to be a part of this show. There will never be an active school shooter scenario. There will never be anything like that. I think that as a DM, I try to be very purposeful about violence when it happens and why. I'm not going to put you guys into erroneous combats, especially while you're still in Jenkins, Nebraska. It is, and a lot of Jenkins, Nebraska, please feel free to have it be non-lethal violence. I will assume it is non-lethal until you specify otherwise, because your characters are teens.
Yeah.
You're all like either about to be or have just turned 18. So that's where I'm going to land on that. Does anyone have any concerns around it?
I'd just like to also add, narratively, it's also very dangerous. Chekhov has proven this to us. You put a gun in there, you just expect it to happen.
Get out of here!
No, and so we're gonna bottle us in a certain way.
All right.
I feel the same way about like Rivals to Lovers. Actually, it's sort of like a, it's like it's just waiting to pop off. And I can wait 20 episodes if I need to, but it better fucking happen.
We'll find out. All right. Do you guys want to take a quick break before we move in, or you guys just want to hop right in?
No thanks. I already pooped.
I'm good.
I'm okay.
All right. Then we're going to move right in. We're about to play, I'm sorry, did you say Street Magic? Hell yeah, gamers. Let's do it. I'm going to read some stuff out loud. And you're going to love it. You're going to love my voice. Here we go. I'm sorry, did you say Street Magic is a city building story game? We take turns exploring our city, and by the end of the game, we will have created a place that none of us could have imagined alone. Our agenda as players is to create a vibrant and multifaceted city, to fill that city with life and personality, and to expand upon each other's ideas together. Unlike many tabletop games, I'm sorry, did you say Street Magic is played without a game master or facilitator. This game goes back and forth between phases of independent and collaborative creation. At times, we will decide on certain aspects of the city as a group, but on your turn, each of us has complete control over what we add to the city. All right. So they have built-in safety and support tools in this game, which I think is super rad. So we're gonna go over those real quick. I'm sorry, did you say Street Magic is designed for light, breezy gameplay? However, much like exploring a city in real life, a game of Street Magic might lead us down strange paths or in unexpected directions. Here are a few different safety tools we can use during the game to look out for each other. Any of us can use these tools at any time during play. So there are rest stops. To take a rest stop, everyone playing steps away from the table for a few minutes. We will use this break to stretch, catch our breath, and get some water or a snack if we need. We can also use it as a chance to talk about the game so far and the direction it's heading in. So that's rest stops. We have holds. Rest stops are a great way to check in with your fellow players, but they can't always resolve issues that come up in the moment. Holds are a tool that is... Holds are a tool that work to address that concern. Anyone can call for a hold at any time to pause the fiction of the game. And then we have lines and veils, which we have all discussed those. So I'm going to go ahead and skip over that. So with those safety tools and intro out of the way, we are going to set the tone of Jenkins, Nebraska. So the first part of creating our city is establishing its tone, the color and the texture of the setting we want to explore. Jenkins. As a table, let's decide on 3 adjectives that will set the mood of our city. We should pick at least one from the list below, but we don't have to limit ourselves to these options. So I have to figure out where I put it. Yay, there it is. So included with this game is a beautiful list that I popped up onto everybody's screen.
Very cool.
You're so prepared, Katie.
I try.
Prepared.
I
love it.
I'm not used to DMing live. And so my dumb ass is always like, I can fix it in post. There's no post now.
There's no post.
Fix it in pre.
Fix it in pre is my new motto.
Yeah, that's mine. Yeah.
So I really love this list of words. You can always also pick your own, but I'm gonna close my mouth on this one because I feel like I've already given you guys some really solid guidelines for what Jenkins, Nebraska should feel like and be. But I think that this is your time to put your mark on the world. So I would love to have you decide on the 3 words that you want to vibe with for Jenkins.
Do you want this included in the secret notes, or do you want me to not include it? Do you want me to create a card for it?
I'm gonna put it. Yeah. So actually, I can talk about that right now.
Yeah. No. Sure.
I was actually gonna put that in the description section of the Essentials Guide to Jenkins. I was gonna write
okay.
Nebraska.
Can you take it from? I'm gonna give you a minute to look at these, and then say, I'm gonna be taking notes on our website. You can go to, and then you can kind of follow along what we're doing here as the game progresses. We'll be updating it.
All right. So I'm going to give you all a minute to decide on these words. As for where we're going to put them, we are going to be doing collaborative note-taking on our Notion, which you can go to at GENERATIONFANTASY.com. That'll lead you right to our Notion where you can see sort of the culmination of our world-building process, and it'll be updated as we play the campaign, and we'll put our favorite tools for success, maybe using Roll20, which, as you can see, we are also using. So you can get a feel for an inside scoop if you ever want to come back and theorize about all the sauce that's going on.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. It'll be
GenerationFantasy.com.
It'll be kind of written like a wiki if this world was real, right?
Yeah. And run by a bunch of not conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. People that are actually here though, in the it's kind of being written by characters
as if who believe and live in Jenkins, Nebraska. Yeah.
Omnipotent characters, minor characters that you'll never see.
One of the words that I always like, and especially in this genre, is like eclectic. Like I love like a weird small town. Like,
I was trying to think of a word for that. I was trying because I didn't want to say quirky because quirky is kind of like funny, but like I want it to be like it could be dark, quirky, or it could be like bright and sunny. Like that was another thing in Buffy that I love is when they would do like weird and sunny episodes that are just like kind of dark at the same time.
Yeah. And I think having that variety of like and giving the feel that this town is inherently filled with kooky characters. Yeah. And the like town kind of has that vibe. There's just a lot of personalities present and they leave a thumbprint on it.
Yeah. But we wouldn't think that they were kooky. You know what I mean?
No,
like they exist in a normal reality.
Yeah. I mean, they're still weird for our reality, but yeah.
Do we have to pick from this list, or can we come up with our own?
You can come up with your own. It's suggested that you pick at least one from this list.
Katie, turn up your volume just a little bit.
A little bit?
Just
okay.
Bit.
How's that?
Because the word I'm thinking of is liminal. Because I do feel of a liminal space.
Liminal?
Of just being like on this like borderline between fantasy and reality.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Upon the precipice. I would like to choose a word from here, and I'm going to choose faded.
Ooh.
I like that.
Just the idea that it is old-fashioned, and yet especially for our characters, this idea that, you know, you are on the precipice of turning 18. This thing is all about liminal spaces and learning new things and stuff. And the idea that Jenkins, Nebraska is a thing to eventually be left behind.
Yes.
But that all of our characters feel that before they have even left.
Yeah. And limited resources. Like it doesn't have all the opportunities of like whatever. So it's like.
But it used to. And you can see like kind of the shell of that presence maybe.
Very much like a sort of old fashioned, like, this is not enough for me and I'm not sure what is yet. Which I think is something that all 18-year-olds feel about their hometowns.
Cool.
I like
that. Was pretty quick.
Hell yeah. All right. So
choose one, 3 words. Could we only have 3 words?
I mean, if you want to break the rules and do another one, I'll look away.
I'm sorry.
I'll look away. I'll pretend I don't see.
Maybe we can combine, or what word are you thinking?
I do not look.
Well, I was asking Carlos if he wanted to add a word.
Oh.
Yeah, because each of us got.
Oh, I didn't even think about it. I thought they were all good. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like all 3 of them.
Cool.
Okay. All right. So now, and then usually after that point, you like you kind of like figure out like the actual like building blocks of the town. But we already do that. It's a town called Jenkins, Nebraska. We are pretty familiar with it. So we're gonna move straight into the sauce.
It's pop into the sauce, isn't it?
Yeah,
we're gonna pop into the sauce. All right.
Pop into that sauce.
I'm gonna pop into some sauce.
We're gonna pop into the sauce. So the first thing we're gonna do is explore a neighborhood. However, I gotta figure out who goes first, and the game suggests figuring who goes first by determining who rode public transportation last.
No one's left their houses.
No, but I used to back in March of.
So did I back in March.
Right. In March of 2020, March 10th. Like March 10th was the last day.
Let's roll a d4 and just
call it.
Okay, everyone roll a d20 and roll 20, and we'll pick whoever is the high, and then that'll be how we do our initiative.
I hate this.
Oh my gosh.
All right, 17.
10. Charles is 17. 11 and a 19. Okay, so Tina's gonna go. Oh, I also have to roll.
I haven't left my house in 3 years.
All right, I'll go after Solani. Okay. So,
pandemic hipster over here. I was pandemic before pandemic.
No. I was depressed before the pandemic.
Yeah, it's like the saddest flex.
So with that,
take that, therapist. I don't need you anymore.
So with that done, we're going to explore our first neighborhood. Let me pop that up for everybody. Neighborhoods are the broadest, most overarching type of cards that you can play in your city. So to explore a new city, TK, with a new neighborhood, what you're going to do is you're going to copy the token that says neighborhood on it, and you're going to place it somewhere on this map. And then we're going to do 3 things with it.
Okay.
We're going to give it a title, which is what the denizens of this city call the neighborhood on a daily basis. It could be named after local geography, the history of its residents, blah, blah, blah. We're going to give it a reputation, what it's known for in Jenkins, Nebraska. What do other neighborhoods think of them? What's the hot goss? And so you can invite other players during that to ask questions that you can answer, right? Because this is your turn. Right. So TK's word is law this turn. And then the third thing we're going to do is we're going to give it a true name. And I'm going to read this verbatim because I think true names is where you all might have the most questions. It's also my favorite part of, I'm sorry, did you say street magic? So every neighborhood has a magic all its own. To confer a true name, come up with 2 or 3 descriptive sensory images that paint a clear picture of the neighborhood in your mind. Write these at the bottom. We're going to write them in Notion. It's usually played in person on index cards. True names can be tactile details of the space, but they can just as easily be metaphoric or symbolic abstractions intended to elicit an idea or personality more than a literal representation. Think poetically and play to the senses when coming up with true names. Dizzying mirror glass windows, cobblestone boulevards, a funicular railway, sidewalk patios, burnt coffee, painted fingers, a forever sunset, hushed secrets, an abandoned dream. Any of these could be facets of a true name. A neighborhood's reputation might be what people think of it, but a neighborhood's true name is what makes it unforgettable to our characters.
I'm going to be honest, I am paying attention. I did absorb all of that, but I couldn't help but think about how one of the symbols on the telephone booth looked like the symbol from Naruto. So
okay.
Okay, so in a true name, is this like a tagline or is it like a tag?
I think it's a narrative tagline.
Yeah, it's an aesthetic. It's a vibe. It's it's something. It's like mini prose, you know. I like to think about how this will not be a reference that you will understand, but I like how Tumblr ships sometimes, like back in the day, they got like the rose who challenged the thorn, right? They'd always got like ship taglines whenever you talked about them. Gotcha. So I always like to think of those.
Yeah, those kind of sound like romance novel taglines. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got it. When I would describe my band back in the day, I would say like it's like the Faint and the Blood Brothers had a fist fight while Cursive watched in the back, like kind of like it doesn't actually explain anything, but explains everything at the same time.
No, for sure. Yeah.
How do you explain the vibe? Right?
So when you're like pitching, that's called a comp. Because you're comparing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool,
yeah. Cool. So you'd be like Harry Potter meets Game of Thrones. Like it's very like it's a comp.
Gotcha.
Yeah, for sure. It seems very like I like it. It's like a purple prosy tagline.
And I'll come out and I'll say it right now. Masood actually wins GM favor points for putting initiative in chat. Thank you, Masood. I see you and appreciate you.
Putting initiative in chat.
Yep.
All right.
That way, because it's not that way we can just keep track of it. Yeah.
I was told to close my chat for the recording.
I know.
That's why
I can't get points.
People don't need to see
you
it.
have never been interested in GM points ever.
I want points now, though. We're starting over. I have a chance.
Carlos,
you don't, because you had to have chat closed.
Carlos, you think you could beat the king?
And I'm putting the bit back in the box.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bit in the box.
Okay.
Okay. So neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So title. Since we're getting started, the world is your oyster. You can name this neighborhood wherever. I will say, to clarify a bit for you all, the reason that these sections are split into 4 is in Jenkins, there is North Ward, South Ward, and East and West Ward. And that's how the council member knows who's in charge of which like section of the town. So perhaps there is a feeling to each ward. I don't know. That's for us to decide.
Yeah. So I can do like, which one is the neighborhood one? This one?
Yes, third one down. Yep. So go ahead and make a copy of that.
Gosh. Oh no, the dash upsets me. You're supposed to put it on a syllable.
Is it nabe or
Nabe
hood?
or hood. Okay, so and I can put it anywhere?
Anywhere you want.
Does it have to be this size?
Wait, does it have to be where?
Can I shrink it down? Like, I feel like it'll get crowded fast if it's.
Well,
I think we can
it's a
shrink
big
them as we
boy.
go.
And
Okay, that's
we
fine.
can make it an aura too. Let's do that to see how big
Ooh.
like that actually takes place. Unless you want
How-
to draw that.
I think we can start worrying about that when we get
Later.
our other.
All right,
Okay.
I need to take off my editor brain. I want this neighborhood. I want this neighborhood to be called Bradbury Circle.
Ooh, that's very evocative for me. Bradbury Circle.
Yeah, like Ray Bradbury.
Okay, so Bradbury Circle. You can go in and change that spelling if you'd like, but I have that set up as the name now.
Cool.
Let's
I
make
don't
it all
know.
capital.
Okay, we're gonna all caps everything.
Yeah, because
Okay.
event and neighborhood are all capital, and so is landmark, and it's gonna bug the hell out of me if it's not.
All right. Okay.
I'm sorry, guys.
This is what they don't see from us when we're playing Dungeons
yeah.
and Dragons. Okay, so Bradbury Circle here on the map. What do you think the reputation of Bradbury Circle is?
You're muted.
Okay, you dude.
Oh, sorry. It was so that people couldn't hear my mechanical keyboard as I. I think that Bradbury Circle is like a pretentious sort of art district, but in like a small town, you're only allowed like one art store. So it's like it's got like a cafe that's run by like a local lawyer and stuff, and like so that's like the vibe is like a sort of like pretentious uptown for a small town.
Is there? Can we all weigh in, or is this all TK?
You could ask TK questions,
Cool.
Okay.
leading questions, which I love doing. Pretentious district, a pretentious uptown,
Yeah.
So
or
is
a
this
small town.
a business district or a residential or a little bit of both?
Is it commercial?
Yeah.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is that it is commercial.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of store owners live in the apartments above their shops.
Right. Like
But
boutiques or like specialty
boutiques and
stores. Yeah.
stuff. But it's like just as a person who lives in like a small not quite Midwestern town, it's probably like the roundabout for the old town, like the old Main Street. And then they built a better Main Street like on the other side of town. So this is just like where you have like a pub and and nothing, like they always say it's a pub, but it just means that they sell bottles of beer.
So
Yeah.
so I'm going.
No, please.
So is this the part, has it reached the part of like coming back into fashion? A lot of these like small towns, like they'll have a main street and then like they'll start building better places outside, and then Main Street completely dissolves and like crashes. Is it like that, or has it had a revitalized period yet?
Is it retro now?
Yeah.
I think it is just now starting to be retro as like the younger, because they probably built the better Main Street, which the better Main Street for a lot of small towns was just like the Justice Department, the city of the Commerce, Chamber of Commerce, and like maybe like a town museum or something. And so then they moved those to where they could be better accommodated, like as the city grew.
Yeah.
And so now this is all boutiques and stuff, but it's recently like started picking up more small, like more people coming to it in like the small restaurants and stuff, because it's got like that sort of Graham vibe.
Yeah.
So because it's all old buildings.
It's a little bit bougie though. Is it?
Yeah.
Becoming
it's a little bougie.
Okay.
Is it
Is it bougie, or does it like to think it's bougie?
I think that it is. I think it's a bad kind of bougie in that all, like in most small towns, the people that are sitting on the city council own all the land. And so teens might go to these places being like, oh, it's for the gram. And it's like, you know, I appreciate these hip new places because I'm not like my parents.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay, but you're parents owned this store, so
Can I ask, is there an old theater there that before the new theater got moved and put up? Is there like
I'm gonna put a halt because
okay.
landmarks
Yeah, you're
are their own thing.
Oh, okay,
That's
cool.
true.
So maybe save it.
Yeah.
Is
for
this?
landmarks.
Is it like I'm picturing David's store from Schitt's Creek, like.
I was thinking the same thing.
Would that belong
I think
in
that's
this
very
neighborhood?
similar.
I don't.
You
Yeah, I
know?
don't think he
Get the reference?
I'll say yes, though. I think
Okay.
yes.
Like
Like
like used bookstores and stuff like that.
A white apothecary store?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
like a white apothecary store.
Gotcha. Like something
Stuff
out
like
of
that.
Urban Outfitters catalog or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Like it does look very much like if you were going through a like small towns of America, top 10 small towns of America, this is the street that always gets pictures taken of it
Gotcha.
for like the magazine spread.
Yeah, it's old, but it's new and hip. Like,
It's old, but it's new again. But
Yeah.
you know, the classic buildings, which were like all hotels and stuff in the 1920s and are
Gotcha.
falling apart.
That makes
Okay.
sense. Cool.
All right. So now with that neighborhood built, we're going to continue on in our order.
Yeah.
To Carlos. Here in the first round, in the other rounds, you'll be able to build other neighborhoods as we'll have a different theme. But this neighborhood is our compass for our first round. So, Carlos, your other two options are to place a resident here in Bradbury Circle or a landmark, which can be a place or like a certain artifact or something along the likes of that.
Yeah, I would like to place a landmark.
All right, so we're gonna place a landmark.
Actually, I'm gonna use this one for the landmark. This other
Okay.
one, because it's not a building or anything. I just don't want it to get confusing. Do
All
you want
right,
to
so I
explain
popped
landmarks?
up the visiting landmark page. Yeah, let me explain them.
Yeah.
So landmarks are the second highest tier of cards that you can play when you build a city. They must be played within a pre-existing neighborhood card. A neighborhood can and often will contain multiple landmarks. So each landmark has to have the following: a title, just like a neighborhood, an address. If it feels appropriate, this can be a literal address. After all, street names are another tool to reveal details about the world, but it could also be something more poetic. Is it in the heart of the neighborhood or off the beaten path? Is it several stories up or perhaps below street level? So we're going to do the address there, and then we're also going to give this a true name. Similar to a neighborhood, each landmark has its own true. Oh, we never gave it a true name. We never gave TK's thing a true name. We got to go back.
Oh God.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so what are we thinking about for true names for Bradbury Circle?
I know it's like really silly because like we already said eclectic. When I think of eclectic, I almost always think of like pretentious. Like, oh, you walk into something and there's like 30 wind chimes. Cosmopolitan.
So like
Oh,
wind chimes
actually-
and burnt incense.
No, I think cobblestones under cement.
Oh, that's really fucking cool. I love that. That's really
Because just like the idea that they kept the cobblestone road, but then they put in like new sidewalks and parking lots and stuff, and it's like, why don't you just do the whole ass road?
I love that. Okay, cool. So with that in mind, Carlos, we're gonna go back to placing your first landmark. And so true names for landmarks. Each landmark has its own true name. However, this should be even more specific than the true name for your neighborhood. How does this landmark exist within the neighborhood it's being placed inside? Does this landmark match the neighborhood's unique style or push against it? What makes this unique? What makes it irreplaceable? What can you touch, smell, or taste? Imagine the landmark as you consider these questions and let its true name reflect your answers.
God, that's a lot of pressure. So I'm gonna click out this. I think that it is, TK described this neighborhood as having like kind of like where the old Main Street is, and old towns like this have a circle, have like a center square, the square
Yeah.
basically.
Town square.
So in the square, there's usually something there. It's usually like a courthouse or some type of whatever. I want the landmark to be a giant, like arch, but it's like a monument to the town that has like the town's history. So it's like a marble arch in the middle of the town, and you could actually go under it as well. So it's kind of like has stairs that goes down, and it's the same exact size underneath that it is on top of the arch. So if you've ever been in like New York, they have that giant, the giant arch in Central Park. I forgot what it's called. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no idea. But yeah, I got you.
Okay, so it's basically a giant arch that's built like positively above ground, and then because you need to go under, it's like a negative underground. Yeah, okay. And it has like the whole town's history there.
Is it like a gallery or like a museum piece?
I think it's just like it's a monument that like has everything there. I think like it's carved out of marble, so like little scenes of the town are probably on like one's like on the left side, on this side of it, and then on the right side, and then you could turn around and then see the other part of it. Maybe I don't know exactly what would be there, but probably like when it was first built or whatever, and then like when a war or some type of tragedy happened on that soil. And when you go underground, I think it tells like underground there would be a whole different vibe. So it has like a whole different like feel to it. Yeah. So like when you're underground, you're probably seeing like maybe the things Jenkins isn't proud of, So the top would be things that they are, and then underground it'd be like things that they're not proud of, or maybe like it has those type of things in there. Because now that I say it, there's probably been a time when like the soil went bad in Jenkins for a long time.
History.
Yeah, so it's like
the history museum.
The bad parts is represented in there. It's all ornate artwork and marble work down there.
So what do you think the title of this landmark is?
Yeah, I don't know. Throw some stuff out at me, guys.
For the record, in there are a few arches in Central Park, but the one I'm thinking you're talking about is the Eagle Vale Arch.
Vale?
Eagle Vale. There's also Winterdale. There's the Gray Shot Arch, Glade Arch. There seems to be some connection often with like nature in an arch name, if that's like...
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these are like bridges? Is that right? Or
I think Eagle Vale... The Central Park Arch, the Eagleville Bridge is the only double arch bridge. And then
what about the Playmates Arch? Is that the one we were thinking of? Or
maybe.
I don't know. I have to see it.
But what might be like a tree that is found in Jenkins?
I know that there are Nebraska National Forests because I went, are there Nebraska National Forests? Huh. Yes. Let me just search Nebraska trees. Native trees and shrubs from Nebraska. We're getting really excited here.
Mm-hmm.
A shagbark.
The shagbark arch.
No, it is not that. It is definitely not that.
Silver maple, eastern redbud, black walnut, honey locust. Whoa.
Honey locust. I kind of like honey locust arch.
They
wild crabapple.
People also name landmarks after the person who made them or the event that it's commemorating.
Yeah. It could be like the 50th archway.
The bicentennial arch. You know what I mean? Like if it's about history, it could be like or centennial, like you could put like a time unit on it. Yeah.
And it might not even, whatever its real name is, it might have a name that everybody just calls it, like the bean.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like if it would be called like the Buried Arch or something, because it's in Bradbury, but it's also buried underground.
Ooh.
I like the Buried Arch. Because I think that's also like...
But it might be named after someone too. Like I think the common name would be something like that. Or someone...
Well, maybe Bradbury was like the last name was someone's last name.
Okay, yeah. Let's do it.
Maybe like the town founder?
Yeah.
We could call it the Bradbury Arch, like for its official name, maybe, and then maybe it has a.
Or maybe like their first name, her first name.
Yeah,
think
her
it,
first name.
Yeah, I think maybe
The Sharon Arch.
like an artist or someone or something that was I don't know what was popular in this neighborhood, but I think I feel like this neighborhood at one time was like
What about Zelda? Like the Zelda Bradbury. If we're gonna do like referencing to like literary
Zelda
folks.
Bradbury
Yeah.
has
We're
a
gonna
ring to it.
I don't like it. I don't.
And it's Carlos's-
No, it's
and
your
Carlos's
I
turn, so-
I rarely say stuff like that too, but like there's
Yeah.
just something about Zelda that's just like automatically
because it's
Zelda.
Masood.
Yeah. I get
for
it.
me.
I love this season 2 rivalry.
I like
That's
I like
the rivals to lovers arch we were looking for.
I like the idea of honey locust, but like only the top part is considered the honey part and the below part is considered locust.
honey locust. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me look at that tree. Let's I would just want to know what the honey locust tree looks like. Oh, they're beautiful.
1 second. I will also pull it up in mine so that people can like Carlos, if he needs my footage, can edit in the picture.
Yeah, I'll just straight up throw a picture on our.
We won't do it. Whatever.
In our fantasy.
Oh,
in our
that's
role-playing.
not that.
A thornless honey locust. Ooh, honey thorn, something
They're
like
gorgeous.
that. They are
Here,
pretty.
hold on, I'm almost there.
This town is known for its maple syrup.
Look at this
There it
tree.
is.
Made out of locusts.
Beautiful. It's known for its
so
its
pretty.
locust honey.
So I would love to have those around. They're very like low set trees.
I love them. They're very creepy too, like in a way.
Spooky as
Could you
hell.
imagine being in like an orchard of these at night?
No thanks.
I say orchard, but I guess
All right, so the honey locust arch, is that what we're going
Yeah.
for?
Yeah,
honey
let's do it.
locust arch. What would you
Or
call
monument.
that?
I think it's more of a monument.
Honey locust monument.
Yeah, I think it's more of a
Monument.
monument than an arch.
I like that because we were talking about like the ground being blighted or something, or like having a bad year farm wise, because honey has like a very sweet, so it's like a bittersweet thing. Locusts are
Yeah.
known for destroying crops and stuff. The honey locust monument.
Carlos, what do you think that this monument address is?
Oh.
Also, did you place it on our Roll20
Oh yeah,
map?
no, I didn't do it. I think it's I don't know, it's just center of the square.
Center of the Square is a great address. Center.
123 Main Street.
And what are you thinking its true name is?
Oh god. Oh.
Honestly, I think like top honey bottom locust is
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
Top honey.
is its true
Honey
name.
in the front, locust in the
Yeah.
back. Honey
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
cool with it.
streets, locust in the sheets.
I picture like I could picture that bottom part, or at least what I'm thinking is like there's places in Chicago parks where like you kind of go down steps or like under archways and stuff, and it's just like it's beautiful stonework, but there's so much graffiti and it smells bad, and there's just like garbage on the floor, and that's what I keep like thinking about in the underground part. But up top, it's very beautiful, and why not?
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful stone. Horrible smell. Yeah. Tons of graffiti.
Less honey, more locusts.
Yeah, the bottom part is definitely all locust.
Okay.
All locusts. Locusts in the sheets.
Do you want to add that title to your token?
Yeah.
And then who's next on the list? Solani. Staying in Bradbury Circle, you get to add a landmark or a resident. What would you like to add?
I'm gonna do a landmark.
Okay.
You just
So
copy
you can,
paste.
yep, and place that wherever you'd like.
All right. Should we make it the same size? Ah, no. We'll put it down here.
Okay.
I am thinking there is a fountain. Probably pretty not far from the Honey Locust Monument. What am I gonna call it? I'm gonna call it Oh, I'm gonna call it the Celeste Fountain.
Ooh. Okay.
So that is what's the official name. Its true name is the unnecessary roundabout that everybody fucking hates.
The roundabout that everybody hates. It is the Celeste Fountain.
Right in the middle of the road, and it's completely unnecessary roundabout because they don't get that much traffic.
Nobody knows how to exit off of it either. Yeah.
It's really hard to like plan events around in Main Street too.
Is this the only roundabout in
Yes.
Jenkins, Nebraska? Okay.
It is completely pretentious. They just made it there because it looks cool.
I
It
always
forces
like
everybody to go around the fountain and look at the fountain.
Right.
there's a term
have
called
one
the
just like
punishment light. Have you ever heard about like you know when you like exit certain places and they build a red light there just for the traffic that comes out of the parking lot of the Trader Joe's or whatever, but it's not like it's not enough traffic that they're allowed to like stop it that often,
Yeah.
so you just sit there for what feels like forever waiting for it to go green. That's called a punishment light, where you just like you sit
But
there
we-
and you just like think about all your sins and like reevaluate
We
your
have
life
one like
at
that,
the
and we
punishment
have
light.
it's outside of a giant church that we call Six Flags Over Jesus.
Okay.
Because Hillcrest Church is like
That's a true
so
name.
huge. That's what we call it, Six Flags Over Jesus. And like there have to be cops that come out and direct traffic around the people who are leaving that church
Sure.
yeah, on a Sunday evening or afternoon, because there's so many people. They had to build a second parking garage. I live in Kentucky.
That's wild.
Nothing here has a parking garage except that church, and I am including like our Hall of Justice.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Slotty, what do you think this landmark's address is?
It's the intersection of Main Street and Center Avenue.
At this section of Main Street and Center. Okay. And what are you thinking about for the true name of the Celeste Fountain?
It's the roundabout everybody hates.
Okay.
The full name is the completely unnecessary roundabout that everybody hates.
Okay. All right. And then I'm writing the completely unnecessary that everyone hates. Perfect. So with Celeste coming to an end, is my turn. I think I'm going to pick to introduce a resident.
All right, weirdo.
I know, plot twist.
Hot
You're
barista,
quaking in your hot barista. I hear your wants. Unfortunately, hot barista I shall not be providing. Damn. I want to provide the Jenkins event planner.
Yes. Do they work for the like
Don't
historical oversight committee? Like what like
I think like I want this person to have like a ton of that needless cash. Like
Yeah.
I'm not, did you not know that I'm the treasurer for the Jenkins Historical Society, and also
Oh, the one that do like everything. They're always
Yeah,
like
of course.
every board
yeah.
meeting has them.
no.
It's like,
yeah.
Cherry picking club has them. They're just like
Right.
everywhere.
I need a
Leslie Nope.
yeah, but bad.
a little less sincere.
Honestly,
Yeah.
Leslie Nope ain't that great. Oh, sorry.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Fight.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of like names that I kind of hate, and I'm gonna go with a Macy.
Macy.
Please?
Yes, I'm gonna go.
Oh no, why? 2 E's?
Macy. I was thinking Macey. Macy.
Why?
Rowland. Let's do Macy Rowland.
Ooh.
I can't
The way
believe
you
this
said it, I knew instantly.
I can't believe that this is like our call out post for both Macy Gray and Kelly Rowland. We're coming for you.
Also, if your
At
name's
us.
Macy, I'm sure you're wonderful. If your
Yeah,
last
Macy,
name's
we love
Rowland,
you.
I'm sure it's great.
I think I maybe just pushed the wrong one. Oh no, I did the right thing. Nice. Okay. So, residents are the individual characters and people who inhabit the city and are nested inside of landmark cards. A landmark can contain multiple residents. I'm going to nestle this one inside the fucking... I want to make sure I had the name of it. The Honey Locust Monument is where I'm going to put this. I think that she's in the middle of trying to make the bottom of the monument, like, hurt again. Despite it being a popular hangout already, she wants it to be a popular hangout for her friends. So
you need to bring investors to the neighborhood.
Exactly. So residents are the individual characters and people who inhabit the city and are nested inside of landmarks card. A landmark can contain multiple residents. Like neighborhoods and landmarks, each resident needs a title. So Macy Rowland, a common name known to all, let a resident's title inform their personality and vice versa. Write their title at the top of the card and write their pronouns next to that. We're going to go with she, her for Macy Rowland. Describe this resident briefly to the table. If they have a noteworthy profession or other important qualities, feel free to write that information down. But don't spend too much time writing, just use a few words. What you say aloud is much more important than what you write. Like neighborhoods and landmarks, every resident also needs a true name. Unlike neighborhoods and landmarks, however, a resident's true name is established through collaboration. That means y'all involved as well during a vignette, a short scene in which all players participate, which suspiciously sounds like improv.
Oh no! You trapped us. You trapped us.
We do not have to do today.
I was told there'd be no improvisation.
Yeah, I know. I know that
my agent promised me no improv.
I know that there are some legal requirements around improv. So to read a bit about vignettes, in the context of this game, a vignette is a brief glimpse into a resident's daily life. To begin in a vignette, the current player decides where the scene takes place. Which I'm going to do that. The current player embodies the residents. Other players play various aspects of the setting: the weather, music, local flora and fauna, sights, smells, and tastes, the passages of time, or other characters in the scene. Did you hear all those things that came before characters?
I would like to play the passage of time.
All right, TK will be embodying the passage of time.
The slow march towards death.
So the player embodying the resident can make broad scene requests of their co-players, like, could someone play one of my family members? Or, let's frame this as a montage of my regular customers. Or, I'd like this to be a solo scene. Please only abstract elements of the place, please.
I'm sorry, I don't understand solo scene. What is that?
Yeah,
monologue.
You've done a few of them.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the current player begins by describing the resident's interior thoughts and actions, and other players respond freeform, engaging in loose and improvised conversations, describing sensory details as well as the resident's desires, beliefs, and appearance. Feel free to speak both in and out of character, narrating the character's actions or say things that they would say in their own voice. A vignette should portray the resident in their element. This is a snapshot of a moment when this character is truly, unequivocally themselves. Spotlight their strengths, skills, and shortcomings. What unique spark does this resident bring to the city that no one else can offer? The scene is over when the current player knows the resident's true name in its entirety. Write the facets of their true name on the card and place the card so that it rests partially on top of the corresponding landmark card. And that's what it is like to introduce a resident. Cool. So for this small resident vignette, I'm going to request abstract elements only. I don't want any characters in this one. We can see them, but I don't want to hear them. I don't want them to talk. I don't think Macy's gonna talk either. What I want to focus on is I think this vignette is Macy trying to. I think she's in the locust part of Honey Locust Archway, and I think she's like taking notes on her phone. I think she put on a new black hoodie that she bought so she can blend in, even though everybody clearly knows it's her. And I think she's like there to like take pictures and scheme about how to make Honey Locust better, the monument better, more the focal piece of the town. And I think from you all, I want to hear maybe what exists in Honey Locust Monument that Macy thinks needs to change.
Can I? Well, Carlos?
No, go.
I was going to say, I think it's difficult for Macy to take photos or notes of everything while she still has her
matching beautiful leather bag for this outfit that like dangles on this part of the arm.
I think she bought it for this occasion.
Bought it for the occasion.
It's
hangs
like a new color. Like usually it's a much brighter color, but she bought in the same brand.
And it completes, and the bag always completes the look. So no matter where there is a bag, large, small, depends on the occasion, but yeah. So I think you hear that jangling, and like maybe like the Michael Kors like metal like keychain on it is bouncing around quite a bit. That might be a sound that is present in this scene.
Okay. Okay. I like that.
I like on her phone while she's taking notes and taking photos, if we were to like double click and see the open tabs, there would be Pinterest would be on one, and she would have a board of like renovation stuff, like how to renovate marble. And it's like when people buy like an old brownstone and then they like kind of demolish it, so it kind of just looks like every contemporary house like made or whatever. And she wants to basically like make this, wants to update the old with the new. Like, we don't need this drab thing. Like, this could be pretty, guys. And it's like, it also means like destroying like history, even if it does make it like a little bit nicer by today's standards or whatever. I think that says a lot about a person.
I agree.
I think that I want to concentrate on feel and texture, and I think that the floor of the Honey Locust monument, like the underground, is cement, and she keeps thinking about how much her feet hurt. Maybe just walking on it in heels. She wants to get rid of it and maybe do like some like a flower garden or something down here as well.
Ooh, like a fake grass.
Yeah, or like a fake grass, like an astroturf, something that gives like a sense of like restfulness and stuff. She wants people to be at peace down here, instead of like, maybe there's a sense of like disgust and discomfort being down here with a cement floor, like it's a highway underpass. And she has like that sense.
I think I've achieved Missy Rowland's true name, which is AstroTurf swatches in a new Michael Kors bag.
Oh my gosh.
So with that, I think Missy Rowland is introduced.
Heck yeah.
All right. That's Missy Rowland. And then we move on to Masood.
Heck yeah.
Play something, bud.
I have been thinking about it for a while, and I know who I want. And I said who? I'm bringing a person, a resident, and they are going to reside near and or like nearby the Celeste Fountain.
Okay.
And they are Macy's foil, the person that they're constantly running up against. Who's like, no, you leave this town the way it is. It's fine.
The guitar hippie.
This is Zelda Bradbury. This is the descendant of one of the original like the Bradburys of the town. And I use this in like the utmost respect. A mother crone, like like elderly, has been here, as established in this part of the city.
But is she like a little hardcore?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Like 1,000%. Like hardcore because it's Jenkins, Nebraska. Like, and went bow hunting and insisted their family let them bow hunt with their other cousins because they knew they'd do a better job than their like Timmy over the fuck over there. And like at the same time also like truly was a revolutionary throughout. Yeah.
She's 80
What
years old.
pronouns are you thinking? Just to clarify.
She, her, 80, and it may. Yeah, TK, exactly, yeah.
Her 80 still fucks. Got it.
Still fucks. Now only smokes 1 cigarette a day.
1 cigarette for the day, but smokes twice a day. Because I know those people.
Yeah.
They
They
smoke
put it
half
out.
of it. They put it out with their finger, put it behind their ear, and then go about
Or like
their day.
rest it on the ashtray that's outside with their chair. Exactly. Yes.
Wow.
Zelda Bradbury, and I
don't want to get in too deep of it, but I do think there's a reason why this useless circle is here. Its shape is important for something bigger than maybe most folks know about, but Zelda might be clued into it. Like its formation matters in whatever way, shape, or form.
Like an inverted donut.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't capitalize Macy Rowland's name.
Yeah.
Please don't fire me. Macy.
I've been staring at it the entire
Right.
time, but it's okay.
Sorry.
I think
So what vignette are we seeing, Masood?
yeah, I think this is the vignette is Macy coming out for the second half of her cigarette. It's 6:30 p.m. She opens up the screen door from her like modest one bedroom house that overlooks the circle, and she sits down in her chair on her cement driveway underneath the overhang that her car pulls into, and takes a puff of her cigarette. Please, I would love to see and hear, what does she notice when looking at the circle? What are the things that go past? And also, what are the things that maybe sense and sounds of the nature that's behind her?
I think that there is 3 teens inside the fountain right now
Yeah.
pouring Gatorade mix.
She laughs. She thinks it's hilarious. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's 3 teens pouring Gatorade mix into the fountain.
Yeah.
There's like a bucket, like clearly like some sort of sports mix stolen from a gymnasium.
Right.
Okay.
You
She's
see,
into it.
she rests her cigarette out, calls them over, and goes in and gives them a bunch of Kool-Aid packets, like, and sends them off. Look for like the grandkids and the folks that come by. It just happens to have it. Like, is as much.
Zelda.
Yeah.
I'll bet she's the type that also like dyes little kids like hair with Kool-Aid too.
Mm-hmm.
You monster.
I mean, and knows better, but that's like, but that's the way that had been done, and like that's the way that she knows. That's the technique. Yeah.
I think that there was
Were you gonna say something?
Oh, so is Solani saying something?
Oh, sorry. I thought I heard.
I'm still thinking.
Go ahead.
I think that there's also somewhat adjacent to the fountain. There is a thrift store that just shut down. So it's shuttered, and there's a new, like, we see the for sale sign being like stick and peeled like onto the window itself.
Mm-hmm.
She like grimaces upon noticing that, and kind of like, she was having fun with these kids and like putting like Kool-Aid in the fountain as well, because it's funny. And then while playing, sees like it putting them up, and you see a little bit of that joy kind of like vanish.
I think that maybe she also sees that there has been a small, like, not quite art installation, but like sort of like tchotchke hawker. What do y'all call them? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But they're like very much like they're tchotchkes. They're like a huckster.
Oh, it constantly changes. They used to sell like clip-on sunglasses,
right,
or like whatever it is.
Right.
Like,
but this is like, this person is like graduate school age maybe, and they've been really trying to figure out what their art is. And last month maybe they did like succulent things out of like cupboard drawers, like little pots for succulents out of like refurbished dressers. This week they have like jewelry that's made out of like the doll eyes that open and close.
You see Zelda go over to look at it, and like, you don't hear the conversation, but you can tell they're just like praising the work and like, oh, that's really clever for you to like use the medium this way. Like, buys one, tries to overpay, and the student's like, no, it's only this, insists, and then like finishes their cigarette on the walk back, and goes inside their home.
what do you think Zelda's true name is?
I think the unsanctimonious guardian.
Ooh, I like that.
Nice.
All right. As you can see, we've come to the end of the round. So when the end of the round happens, an event occurs. So after everyone has wandered the city during the current round, the player who first declared the compass, which is secretly TK, congrats, finishes the round by creating an event that changes or alters the city in some way. So you can see the event token out there. So you're gonna be dragging and dropping that bad boy into action. Your event should be related to the compass, which we'll actually set a compass next time. This was like the intro round. So the compass is just sort of what we've made so far for this instance. Or to a card that was played during the round. Events are a good way to tie up loose ends on questions that arose during a round. However, an event can also be a chance to highlight an aspect of the compass that was unexplored or recontextualize other elements of the city that were discovered during play. An event is always connected to a neighborhood, landmark, or resident. On your turn, which it is, describe the event in a sentence or two. Then choose which token on Roll20 so far it most closely relates to. Something has changed in the community. What is it? If it isn't already clear, explain how this event serves as a connecting point between the card you've chosen and the compass currently in play. So you're going to do that part, and then I'll explain what the rest of the four of us get to do afterwards.
So this is an event, not like a festival or anything like that. Okay.
It could be.
So okay. But something has
be...
changed the landscape of this neighborhood that we all built together. That's correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think the event that changed the landscape is that a secret like an angel investor came in and swooped in to block Macy Rowland from renovating, but changed it to something else instead.
Interesting.
Like, it's not being renovated by Macy, but it's not the blessing that they thought it was.
Okay.
It wasn't saved. It was,
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so the event, I will describe the event as an angel investor arrives in Bradbury Circle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'll describe it as.
That's a good event.
Which I like a lot.
Because it kind of affects both people.
Yeah.
Angel investor arrives in Bradbury Circle. Okay, and now everyone else gets to take on the voices of the city. Each player then gets a chance to respond to the event by taking on the voice of the city. In doing so, the players are not embodying specific residents, but rather the myriad of perspectives and viewpoints of the community, especially members who may be impacted by the event. Once the person who chose the compass has created the event, start with the player to their left, which is going to be, if we are going clockwise, now we'd be going counterclockwise. So now it'll go back to Masood.
So reverse initiative. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
so we're going to do reverse initiative. And move clockwise around the table. As a voice of the city, each player does one of the following three actions. So you can ask a question about the origins, implications, or repercussions of the event. Mm-hmm. This question is always rhetorical. TK will not answer it. Let it hang in the air. Huh. You can state an opinion in one or two sentences that some members of the community hold toward the event, or you can show a consequence in a sentence or two of the people in the city reacting to the event. A consequence can be about a specific resident or more abstractly about the community at large. So you get to do one of those three things. Ask a question, state an opinion, or show a consequence.
So the renovation was given to another person?
Yeah, so another person showed up.
So do we know what the renovation is going to be or what they're doing?
I don't think we found out yet.
But like, there's a sign that says newly renovated or
like
construction soon,
coming
coming soon, or
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Is that what it is? Yeah. No.
TK?
I think
TK.
I thought that was a rhetorical question.
Oh, no.
Am I allowed to answer that?
Coase was asking a question before we got into
yeah,
this.
before
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that's it. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
essentially, like if Macy was designated by like the Chamber of Commerce to renovate it, an angel investor has come in to bring in their own team to renovate it.
Gotcha.
Like maybe outbid that Chamber of Commerce. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to. Can you tell me the 3 things that I can say again real fast? Just
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely. You can ask a question, state an opinion, or show a consequence.
Okay. State an opinion or show a consequence. I think the question. No, you know what? I'm going to say the consequence that happens from the this angel investor is increased attention. Bradbury Circle which is good and bad. I'd say like for both Macy and Zelda. Like now there're just more people coming to this space. It's yes, the people who Macy wanted, like more like yuppies and like just individuals to be around from the town. But it's also other people who are just like, why is it important? Like the teens, like the other folks who are like just citizens, the mall rats show up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For mine, I'm going to state an opinion. My opinion is that this construction is covering something up. Solani.
So Macy was outbid. Is that she's not okay? So I would say a consequence is she loses out on that opportunity and the money that she would have gotten then, and she might be considerably bitter about that. They might even have like encouraged her to work with the new contractors, and she's not happy about that.
Okay.
Train your replacement.
AC becomes bitter about lost money and opportunity. Carlos.
Yeah, I think there's you said it could be a conversation, right? Or it could be someone
An opinion
by someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be someone's opinion.
Okay, so I think someone's opinion on it is that like it's a darn people are gonna it's a darn shame because now we don't know who's going to be doing this construction, and people in the town need to work. So like if Macy would have done it, it would have gone to like this very particular group.
It's a shame because we don't know who's going to do the work.
Yeah,
who's going to get the actual?
Because it meant it might have meant a lot of work for whoever had the local government construction bid before, but now because it's going to another place, they can choose whoever they want. So it might mean that people might be out of a job.
Okay. All right. And then TK has one more job. So, events change the city around them. At any point during the event phase, the player who declared the event may select cards or a card or cards on the table that they feel have been changed by the circumstance of the event and reflect those changes on the corresponding cards. So you can rewrite a landmark's address, you can rewrite a neighborhood's name, you can move a resident from one landmark to another, or you can alter a card's true name or title. So you can do this multiple times during events, but I didn't want to introduce another layer. But knowing at this point all of this to go forward. So you can do that. But to complete this event, the player who declared the event is the last player to take on the voice of the city. In this way, they have the last word in the event as well as this round's compass. So TK, you do get to do a final one as well, to ask a question, state an opinion, or show a consequence.
You were saying I could change a card's true name?
Yeah, you can.
I would like to change Honey Locust Monuments to true name. Not completely, just an addendum.
I like that.
So what is the True name?
Top honey, bottom locust.
Top honey, bottom locust.
Yeah.
Top honey, bottom locust. Sponsored by Grimoire Industries.
Sponsored by Grimoire Industries. I like this new character on
It's like a very like sponsored by Verizon, but like with a more
It's a fantasy twist. Yeah.
So TK, this actually really brilliantly ties into the end of an event phase. So after the leading player takes on the final voice of the city, which you did, which you still have to do, sorry, is what I meant to say. You're going to end the event phase by writing a second perspective directly underneath the first perspectives that we wrote down. So the first perspective that we wrote down is an angel investor arrives in Bradbury.
Okay.
So now you are going to write the different perspective. The other truth of this event.
After adding a question, opinion, or...
Oh, okay. So now I have to add a question, opinion, or consequence?
Yeah, do your voice of the city first.
Okay, my voice of the city. I'm going to do a question, which is rhetorical. Question. Question. I need to think about how I'm trying to phrase this. How do they benefit from this beautification project?
From beautifying this, yeah.
Yeah. How do they, as in the angel investor, benefit? What do they gain?
Okay. And then what do you think that hidden new perspective is to close out the event?
So the new perspective. So how would I phrase a new perspective? What is that?
It could be as simple as Grimoire Industries finally makes a move.
Ooh, okay. I would say no, my perspective is sort of like that, but different. Using what we know about another character, I will call it your move, Vanderbilts.
Oh, that's very good.
Thanks.
All right. And that's actually, so that is what a full round of this game's going to look like. So this is how you feeling so far. This is our little rest stop.
Good.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm gonna make some coffee.
That's
I
our
drank
rest stop.
a lot of
Everybody
water.
Take your quick break, and then we're gonna lightning through a few more rounds.
I was gonna say, like, I'm ready now. Walking
Now
through
that you
it.
know, we're gonna go.
Yeah.
Masood got that like last part, and he was like.